нашу сценічну постановку «Убивство» у Східному Експресі. Ім'я Агати Крісті, королеви детективного роману, знають в усьому світі. Багато людей у всьому світі із задоволенням читають її книги та дивляться фільми за її романами. «Убивство у Східному Експресі» – це роман Агати Крісті, який вона написала у 1934 році. 40 років по тому було знято одноіменний фільм. Сьогодні, 80 років по тому, ми здійснюємо свою сценічну постановку. Втім, Агата Крісті була проти екранізації свого роману і вважала, що перенести на екран історію «Східного експресу» неможливо. Чому вона так вважала, досі залишилася загадкою. Проте Агата Крісті помилилася. Так і генії іноді помиляються, проте на те вони і генії, щоб ми могли пробачити їм їхні помилки. Багато з вас, напевно, знають цю історію одного із найцікавіших детективів, єдиного та неповторного бельгійця Еркюля Пуаро. Дехто, можливо, сьогодні відкриє для себе вперше цей унікальний твір. Тому, оскільки вистава відбуватиметься українською, але це тільки початок, англійською мовою буде відбуватися вистава, то усі хитросплетіння сюжету нам допоможе зрозуміти незрівняна міс Фелісіті Лемон, секретарка видатного детектива. Тому залишилося сказати одне – ласкаво просимо до його величності театру.
Алло? Так, місьє Пуаро? О, ще 3 дні будете в Парижі. Звичайно, місьє Пуаро, моя нова система сертифікації картотеки майже завершена. Так, саме зараз упорядковую ваші матеріали розслідування у Східному Експресі. Чудово, місьє Пуаро. До зустрічі. Отже, це все почалося у Стамбулі. Еркюль Пуаро приїхав туди із Сирії, де розслідував незаконний злочин у військовому гарнізоні. Але раптова телеграма з проханням терміново повернутися до Лондону змусила його негайно виїхати зі зручного готелю, а на вокзалі він намагався знайти квиток на Східний експрес. Але це виявилося не так просто. Очікуючи вирішення цього питання, місьє Пуаро придивлявся до тих, з ким він мав їхати. І аж ніяк він не передбачав зустріти у цій різношерстій компанії свого давнього друга.
How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm here in Istanbul, at the station. Unfortunately, I haven't followed the line.
On the Express? People are here joining companion. Excellent.
I'm desolate, Monsieur Poro. There is not one single first class between Paris and the entire train.
What, in December?
In December, Signor.
Has Bulgaria declared war on Turkey? Are there aristocracy in the country? I am director of the line, and Monsieur Poro is not only detective of international fame and importance, but he is also my personal friend.
Signor who? Monsieur Poro.
Courage, my friend. We'll arrange something. Andiamo, we must go. Come on.
Express will depart from platform 1 at 9 p.m. for Sofia, Belgrade, Zagreb, Brod, Trieste, Venice, Milan, Lausanne, Basel, Paris, Calais, with connections for
Bonsoir, Pierre.
Madame la Princesse. Fräulein Schmidt, willkommen. Mrs. Hubbard, it's always an honor to greet you. You have your favorite number, 11. Ecco, signor Book, benvenuto, numero 9, come sempre.
Grazie, Pierre. I understand you, Pula.
It's like the whole world elects to travel tonight.
Nonetheless, you must find the room for Monsieur Poirot here.
Monsieur Poirot, the famous...
Precisely. And he's also my personal friend.
Please be so good as to direct.
Oh, Fröken Olsson, plats nummer 7.
Sure.
Is something lost?
My little medal of St. Christopher to bring me luck in life.
Madame, lucky tooth from St. Augusta
No,
of Hippo.
no.
Madame, lucky Buddha.
My St. Christopher, thank you.
You see, my friend has urgently been called to London on the matter of international importance. And I have given him my personal assurance that you will secure him accommodation on the coach to Calais.
But Signor Book, I have already... Hector!
Excuse me, gentlemen, but Mr. Ratchet has a reservation, and we would be grateful if we could board immediately.
Okay, your ticket. Mr. Ratchet, welcome to the number 10. Mr. Masterman, the lower berth in number 1. Mr. McQueen, the lower berth in number 4.
The upper berth is...
As arranged.
Now, Pierre, it's cold, and now we can place Monsieur Poirot in the number which is always kept vacant.
It is taken, Signor, by Mr. Hardman.
Then, as director of the line, I command you to place Monsieur Poirot in what we know to be the empty berth above Mr. McQueen number 4. At least you can get 2 tips.
Please.
Таким чином, за допомогою свого давнього приятеля Бука, директора компанії, якій належить Східний Експрес, Еркюль Пуаро все-таки потрапив до вагону Кале. Наступного ранку, за сніданком у вагоні-ресторані, месьє Пуаро помітив дещо надзвичайне. У цьому невеликому просторі зійшлися люди усіх класів, усіх національностей, будь-якого віку. Протягом 3 днів ці нібито чужі один одному люди нерозлучні. Вони сплять і їдять під одним дахом, а потім знову розлучаються, аби більше ніколи не зустрітися. І кожен іде своїм шляхом. Цікава думка сяйнула Еркюлю Пуаро, де ще, крім цього трансконтинентального експреса, могли зустрітися угорські дипломати, багаті американські бізнесмени, російська княгиня та її служниця Німкеня, італійські холостяки, шведські місіонери, суворі англійці, бельгійці. А відповідь проста – в Америці, цьому великому плавильному тиглі.
You look tired. Yeah, really? Why?
The Belgian in upper berth north.
Really? Any other threatening letters on file? Okay. We can't answer those, can we? Okay. You should go get up on your sleep before the Belgian gentleman gets back to your compartment. Go on.
Hi, my name is Hardman. Call me Cyrus. Foscarelli, call me Antonio. How are you?
Masterman, Mr. Masterman.
The pen of Balzac. For 3 days, all these people, all these total strangers meet in a single train whose engine controls their destiny.
Yes, I know. Where, apart from my transcontinental train, would you find Hungarian diplomats, wealthy American businessmen, Russian princes with her German maidservant, Italian bachelors, missionary women from Scandinavia, lesbians, English stiff people, all nations, all classes, and everything that goes in between eating and sleeping under one roof?
Oh, Poirot, he would suggest America.
Absolutely, a great melting pot.
My second husband always said this was after $10 or at least started. So for Peter's sake, what's it? Drama?
It is, what do you call call it? As a currency.
Oh, my second husband always said, take a book of poor trinkets, mama, and you'll have no problem at all. That just isn't so. Just the 10% cheap. Why would you understood, Mom?
I think Mrs. Olson has a headache. Would you forgive us if we went back to the compartment, Mrs. Hubbard?
Gladly if you must. If you need aspirin, I always carry it in my person. I mistrust foreign drugs.
You must excuse me, Miss Hubbard, officers.
What is the matter with you? Frenzy or something?
And for the dinner this evening?
You will have the goodness to serve the poached sole with 1 new potato and a small green salad with no dressing.
Hildegard.
Who will that majestic lady?
Princess Dragomiro.
Oh, I have heard.
Pardon me, sir. I wonder, could you oblige me with a light?
Certainly.
Thank you. My name is Rachel. Do I have a pleasure of speaking to Mr. Hercule Poirot?
The pleasure, possibly, Mr. Ratchet. The intention, certainly. You asked me for a light. I offered you one, but you haven't used it.
That's wonderful. Sit down, sir.
For a moment.
Just for a moment. Well, Mr. Poirot, how's that?
Poirot.
Oh, Poirot, right. Well, Mr. Poirot, I want to take one job for me. It means money, very big money.
What is the case, or as you put it, the job you wish me to undertake?
Mr. Poirot frequently says, I'm a rich man. Naturally, men in my position have many enemies.
What is your profession?
I'm retired.
What?
Business.
Are you in danger?
Mr. Poirot, my secretary can show you 2 letters on file. My life in danger. And I can show you this. I sleep on it, Mr. Poirot. I will pay you a good price. Well, what about $5,000? Better see. Okay. So, double price, $10,000. Mr. Poirot, $15,000.
Mr. Rachel, I have made enough money to satisfy both my needs and caprices. Now, I take such cases that interest me. To be frank, I found you intolerable.
Познайомившись із характерами своїх попутників, Еркюль Пуаро у черговий раз пересвідчився у тому, що в будь-якій справі найбільш важлива психологія. Саме тому він відмовив підозрілому американському бізнесмену Ретчету в проханні стати його охоронцем, лише тому, що Ретчет не сподобався Пуаро. Принаймні, сеньор Бук надав своєму другові власне купе, а сам перейшов до пульманівського вагону, де крім нього та грецького доктора не було нікого. І ось настає ніч. Неспокійна ніч, ніч дивних шумів, дивних людей, дивних подій.
Monsieur Poirot, I'm transferring Senior Book's luggage to the bowman. He's giving you his own compartment.
But you cannot sit up all night.
My dear friend, do not concern yourself. Since you're going to England, it's better for you to stay on the through coach to Calais. Now, Pierre, make me very comfortable. There is no one in the Pullman but one Greek doctor, Echo.
Oh, such generosity deserves my thanks.
Buon riposo.
Pierre?
Yes, monsieur?
Could I have some clean towels and...
Of course, monsieur. Good night, Mr. Masterman, and good night, Monsieur Poirot. Have pleasant dreams. Have pleasant dreams, Mr. Ratchet.
Cela, silence de mort, snowdrift, quelle nuit!
So now, there was a man in my room. I woke up 5 minutes ago, and there was a man hiding in my compartment. I sensed it. What is more, I know who he was, because I absent-mindedly walked through his open door earlier this evening. Madam, said this Mr. Ratchet, if you had done this 20 years ago, I would have said you come in. 20 years ago? Why? I would have been only 15.
Please, madam, do not hesitate to call the ring next time.
Of course.
Enfin, c'est le comble, évidemment, j'ai une crise de nerfs.
І ось настає ранок.
It's me, sir, Masterman. Will you pick me up? Your amber moon, Mr. Ratchet. Your basket.
Please. It must be the chain.
Pierre, touch nothing. Where are the doctor, Monsieur Book, and the Greek doctor?
In the dining car, sir.
Face them at once.
Після дивної ночі настав не менш дивний ранок. Східний експрес застряг у сніговому заметі. Ніхто, напевно, і не спав. Уся ця метушня та підозрілі шуми, та ще й заява місіс Хаббард, що якийсь чоловік побував у її купе. Але ранок приніс найдивнішу і найжахливішу несподіванку. Семюел Речет, що лише вчора просив захисту Еркюля Пуаро, знайдений мертвим у своєму купе. Сеньор Бук, як директор залізничної компанії, просить свого друга Пуаро розслідувати цей жахливий злочин. На поміч приходить і доктор Грек з сусіднього вагону.
Poirot, Dr. Constantine.
Dr. Constantine, please, examine the body.
Pupil still slightly dilated. Could been drugged, was drugged.
With what?
There is a smell of valerian which is harmless, but something must be added. Why he lost so much blood? Can I pull back the bedclothes?
By all means.
Mr. Rich has been frontally stabbed 10, 11, 12 times.
Oh dear.
There is something in the pocket.
Permit me, his watch.
(1:15 a.m., the time of death. I can definitely say that death occurred between midnight and 2 in the morning.
That would fit. I myself heard him cry out as he means to walk. After that, he asked Pierre to come, and that he said that he had a cauchemar, a nightmare. And after that, he used his wash bathing, and that is the last thing known.
But, monsieur, you cannot refuse. Now you must solve the mystery.
But it is the duty of Yugoslavian police.
What, to question my passengers on the line? Never. When we get to Brod, if we ever do, we present the police with a fait accompli. We say that a murderer was occurred. There is a criminal.
I should like the dining car reserved for the investigation headquarters.
It will be at your disposal.
And the plan of a Calais coach with passengers.
Yes, it will be there.
And all the passports.
You can even have mine, Grazia. Pierre will bring you all the passports.
Are there any other passengers on the train?
In the Pullman coach, nobody but myself and Mr. Book.
Well, then we must concentrate on the Calais coach.
As for my matter opinion, the murderer is with us now.
Why, I was not notified at once, Senor. Mr. Book, I was his nearest associate.
Oh, Pierre, you're Pasky. I need all the passports and really bring me some chemicals. Now, Mr. McQueen, I should be grateful for anything you can usefully tell me.
Let's get just a couple of things, Mr. Poirot, straight first. Who, for example, are you, and what is your status here?
Monsieur Poirot is detective officially delegated to investigate this case by me.
Let us proceed with the matter in hand. Your relationships with Ratchet.
I was his secretary.
For how long?
A year, give or take.
Where did you meet?
In Persia. I went bankrupt and he offered me the job.
And since then?
Well, he was hampered by knowing any languages, and I acted his more as his courier and then as his secretary.
What part of America did Ratchet come from?
I don't know. The fact is, he never talked about his background.
Why do you think?
Well, I began to think that he escaped from America because he frightened something or someone, you know. And a couple of weeks ago, I think he succeeded.
And then?
And well, he began to get some letters, anonymous, threatening letters, like this.
I kill killers.
Prepare to die.
How brief.
But, in fact, how complicated. Were there any other threatening letters?
Yeah, but none that I was allowed to read. He used to burn them.
That explains...
What?
My interest in chemicals. Precisely what I needed.
Voilà, monsieur.
And Pierre, since you're already here, we can start by questioning you. Would you really give me all the passports of all the passengers?
Yes.
Please be seated. Your full name is Pierre Paul Michel.
Yes, correct, monsieur.
In your passport, I notice a photo of your wife 5 years ago. She deceased.
She died, monsieur, at the grief of the death of our only daughter from scarlet fever.
Oh, I'm truly sorry. Let us talk about less distressing matters. At the night of the murder, both you and I saw a woman coming back to her compartment. Were any other moves?
Of course, so let me think. At 1:30, I remember English Colonel saying goodnight to Mr. McQueen outside number 3 and 4. And then he walked back into his apartment, which he did not leave. After that, I saw a woman who opened the door, I don't know which, and walked in the direction of the toilet in the far end of the corridor, here, next to the dining car.
Did you see her return?
No, sir. It is possible I was answering the bell.
That reminds me of a final point. Much earlier, both you and I heard Mr. Ratchet ring the bell, and after that he said that he had a cauchemar. After that we heard a second ring. Who was it?
It was Princess Dragomiro, monsieur. She asked me to summon her maid.
Thank you, Pierre. That is all for the moment. Doctor, further the wounds. You counted a dozen?
Okay. Yes, Mr. Book. 5 are deep, of which you can see here 3 are lethal. The rest are shallow. Here. And 2 so sliced to be mere scratch.
That means that there was 2 murderers, a strong man and a weak man?
Or a weak woman? Or a strong man stabbing this crime so weakly and strongly in order to confuse us. Anyway, we know that by the time of a murder, Ratchet was too drugged to cry out or to defend himself with this.
Oh, and this?
The initial H. I wonder it is someone's Christian name or surname. I hope we will solve it after we reach all the passports. Let us proceed with the last case, the burned paper. Observe, memorize, you are my only witnesses.
Arms. What does it mean? Easy arms.
It means that we know the true identity of Mr. Ratchet and why he had to leave America.
Оглянувши тіло та місце злочину, троє слідчих виявили деякі цікаві факти. 12 ран на тілі Ретчета, деякі з них смертельні, деякі лише подряпини, розбитий годинник, що вказував час смерті, хустинка з ініціалом H, та чи це ім'я чи прізвище, йоржик для люльки, різні сірники та обгорілий папірець у попільничці. Забагато доказів для одного місця злочину. Перший допит першого ж свідка, секретаря, який на диво мало знав про свого господаря, дає дивовижні результати. Виявляється, що Ретчету вже давно приходили листи з погрозами. Неабиякий експеримент, який провів Еркюль Пуаро, дозволяє допитати попіл та виявити не лише причини, через які Ретчет залишив Америку, а й його справжнє ім'я. І ось настає час допитати інших пасажирів вагону Кале.
Do you remember the Armstrong case?
The kidnapping of a little American girl and the killing. Who does not?
Do you remember the name of a child?
Certamente it was Daisy.
D.
Daisy Arms.
Daisy Armstrong.
And Ratchet was her murderer?
Well, the actual murder was tried, sentenced, and electrocuted. Only before the eve of electrocution, he told the name of a real murderer, Lanfranco Cassetti.
Cassetti? Come on, so he has shot blood on his hands.
He has more than that. After the kidnapping, Mrs. Armstrong gave premature birth to a stillborn child, and herself died in the process. Mr. Armstrong, once a brave officer, shot himself, and Mrs. Armstrong's personal maid threw herself from a window. So, 5 deaths, 5!
Cassetti, who spilled so much blood in his lifetime, must he spilled own blood right now?
Pierre, please, could you come to me? Could you summon the passengers to me, one by one, in this order? Except for the Princess Dragomiro, who is not only of royal blood, but also tries not to look as she ought. Please be seated. Mr. McQueen, since our last conversation, I noted the true identity of your last employer.
You don't say...
He was, in fact, Cassetti, the gangster who kidnapped and killed the little Daisy Armstrong. And did you have any idea of this?
Oh no, sir. If I had killed him with my own hands.
You think you could have done the good deed yourself?
It seems I'm kind of incriminating myself.
I should be more inclined to suspect you, Mr. McQueen, if you displayed an enormous sorrow at your employee's decease.
Sorrow? My father was the district attorney, who handled the Armstrong case. Mrs. Armstrong and her husband came to our house twice for advice about the ransom money. She was gentle and frightened, but not too frightened to take an interest in a young man who wanted to go on the stage. She was helpful to me as well, a mother. But how did you figure out Arach's identity?
By a message found in his compartment.
But as I told you, he burned that.
He did.
So how do you decipher it?
With the help of a chemistry. Thank you, Mr. McQueen.
Poirot, he did it. He practically confessed as much.
No, the psychology. Psychology is wrong. Psychology is wrong.
No. It couldn't be. The psychology is wrong. He couldn't own his own godmother.
Ah, godmother! Now you told something valuable.
От і виплила на світ Божий таємниця Речета. Він виявився ніким іншим, як Ланфранко Кассетті, злочинцем, відповідальним за викрадення та вбивство маленької дівчинки Дейзі Армстронг. Але на совісті цього чудовиська було 5 смертей. Не лише маленька Дейзі, а її мати Соня Армстронг, яка померла, народжуючи другу дитину. Ця дитина теж не вижила. Як і батько Дейзі, полковник Армстронг, який застрелився, не витримавши стількох нещасть. А ще була дівчина, покоївка Армстронгів, яку помилково запідозрили у співучасті та заарештували, і яка з відчаю вчинила самогубство. Хто ж убив убивцю? Аби виявити це, місьє Пуаро вирішує розпитати кожного пасажира та виявити, чи не знали вони Армстронгів, та яким насправді був Речет. Секретар Речета Гектор Маккуін зізнається, що знав Соню Армстронг, а доктор Константин випадково промовляє чарівне слово «хрещена».
Come, Mr. Masterman. When you took Mr. Retch's valerian drop at 9:40, was he already in bed?
That is so, sir. Mr. Ratchet always retired early on trains.
What were your duties before leaving his compartment?
To place the Valerian drops within reach, sir. He asked me to call Mr. McQueen and come again not until 10 in the morning, yes.
And then you returned to your own compartment, the number 1 and 2, whose upper berth was occupied by Mr. Foscarelli.
Yes, sir. The Italian person.
Does he speak English?
A kind of English, sir. I think he landed in a place called Chicago.
Did you talk together much?
No, sir. I prefer to read. I have been reading until 4 in the morning. I had the toothache.
And your companion?
He snored, sir.
How did he become employed by Mr. Ratchet?
Through Mabel, sir, the big agency in New York. I think you'll find me on that.
And before then?
I was in army, sir, as a private soldier.
Where?
Troon, sir.
In the Far East?
No, sir, in Scotland.
Oh, Scotland, forgive me. I'm just an ignorant Belgian.
Belgian, sir? I always thought you were French.
Belgian. Did you know about Italian extraction of Mr. Ratchet?
So that accounts for his hotel.
His real name was Cassetti. The name means nothing to you? Do you remember the Armstrong case?
No, sir. Oh, yes, the little girl, yes.
Cassetti was responsible for her murder. How does it strike you?
I think, sir, that instead of our employers requiring references from us, so we should require references from them.
Thank you, Mr. Masterman.
Poirot, he did it. The butler did it. He had constant access to Ratchet, and he could even poison the Valerian before bringing it to his master. And for psychological, well, who knows what boils and bubbles between the stiff shirt to which his profession called him. Who's next?
Mrs. Hubbard.
Oh my God.
Mrs. Hubbard, the whistle means the help is near.
And high time too.
Time is what counts, Mrs. Hubbard. If you want to solve this mystery before we reach Broad, you have to answer my questions as fast as I ask them.
So don't waste your time yammering. Begin.
Your full name is Harriet Belinda Hubbard.
Yes, I was called Harriet after
By now, Mr. McQueen has doubtless informed you about the true identity of Mr. Ratchet.
Yes, that low down.
Were you acquainted with Armstrongs?
No, of course not. Though they were a very sociable family anyway.
Mrs. Hubbard, I overheard the story about a man being in your compartment soon after 1 o'clock. Tell me one thing more. Weren't the door locked on your side of the compartment that communicates with Mr. Ratchet when you went to bed?
Yes, as far as I know.
What do you mean, as far as you know? You can't see the ball from your bed?
No, it was marked by my makeup bag on the hook above. The other day I checked the box and I found something else in my room.
What?
Dio mio, this is the button from wagon-lit conductor's tunic.
Doctor, would you kindly look if Pierre has lost a missing button? Your handkerchief, Mrs. Hubbard?
No, it's not mine. Mine is right here.
Oh, I thought the initial H.
H for Harriet, H for Hubbard, but this is still not mine. Mine are sensible things, not expensive Paris frills.
Mrs. Hubbard, thank for your help and, if I may say so, for playing your part.
If you need me again, I will be around.
Лакей Ретчета не сказав нічого цікавого, крім того, що до 4-ї ранку читав книгу, а його сусід по купе, італієць Фоскареллі, весь час хропів. А ще містер Мастермен колись служив у королівському шотландському полку. А от місіс Хаббард завжди рада розповісти безліч цікавого. Від детального опису візиту незнайомця до її купе до важливої деталі. Вона знайшла гудзик від форми провідника цього поїзда. Але палко стверджувала, що не їй належить хустинка з ініціалом H, хоча її ім'я і починається з цієї літери. І, звичайно ж, вона чула про викрадення і вбивство Дейзі Армстронг, хоча й не була знайомою з родиною. Які таємниці відкриє допит інших пасажирів.
Mr. Book. No one of Pierre's buttons is missing, and all on the right place.
As I suspected. God dag, fröken Olsen.
Nej, talar ni svenska.
Oh, allow mademoiselle, that is an instant of my Swedish. I thought all my Swedish friends are good in foreign languages, and now you have difficulty.
I was born backwards. That's why I work in Africa as a missionary, teaching little brown babies more backwards than myself.
But I see you spent 3 months in America. Were you not able to improve?
I was in an international group for getting money from American rich to African children. I speak Swedish to, big audiences in big cities. In 10 weeks, we make $14,000 and 10 cents.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Miss Olsen, how long have you been interested in religion?
From 5 years.
Now, here is a compartment you share with
Miss Debenham, a very nice young lady from Baghdad, where she teaches English, but she does not pray. I pray, she needs to pray.
After the train left Vinkovci, did she leave her berth?
No, she slept just like me.
If you were fast asleep, how could you know she did not leave?
In Shimoga mission, I can hear snake breath. I would know.
Good. And did you leave your room?
No, not till morning. In my bed gown.
Is your bed gown black with yellow dragon?
No, it's Yaga.
And Miss Debenham's?
Denvar Lila.
Like the French Lila?
Yeah.
Good. And why are you making this trip, Miss Olsen?
Just as always. Money for a mission.
Good. Miss Olsen, when it's all over, I promise to make you an emolument.
God will find you a reward. Tak.
Monsieur, she did it.
Pierre, could you please inform the Princess Dragomirov that Senor Book and I would like to have some words with her in 5 minutes?
Of
course, monsieur.
Monsieur le Comte, this is a Hungarian diplomatic passport that allows you and your husband not to be under interrogation.
Oh, under such circumstances, we waive that right.
You're most kind. I mean, Madame la Comtesse, it is a joint passport. It doesn't have a lot of information about you except your signature and your maiden name, Grunwald.
That is correct, monsieur. My family is of German extraction, so now I hold a Hungarian citizenship.
Unfortunately, the first letter of your maiden name is spotted.
Oh, I must say I find immigration officials are less than cleanly. They're sitting in their little boxes, eating a butterfroat with one hand and stamping butter into passports with the other hand.
Precisely. Would you be kind to duplicate your name?
Yes, of course. Elena Andrenie Grunwald.
Allowing for the differences in pen, the duplication seems exact. Here is one more point, whether asking this, right, this handkerchief is yours.
Since it contains neither of my initials, no point whatsoever, monsieur.
Even less point in asking about the color of your bedgun?
No, unless monsieur takes a professional interest in apricot silk.
I take a professional interest in crime. Have you and your husband ever visited America together?
No, we first met in Wiesbaden, much later.
Later than what?
Later than the day of my youth, when I was on post in Washington.
You lived in Washington?
Oh, what a diplomat of promise has not.
You did not sleep well last night.
Oh, take into account Mrs. Hubbard's contemporary outburst, I slept very soundly.
And you, madam?
Oh, even more soundly. We, neither of us, woke till after 8. So, as my night custom as a night train, I took Trianol.
Yes, you have my word, she did it.
As is most sleeping drugs is a poison.
Oh, are you accusing us?
Of course not. Thank you for your help and cooperation.
Допит шведської місіонерки Грети Ольсон також не дав нічого, крім того, що ні вона, ні її сусідка по купе, міс Мері Дебенхем, чудова гувернантка, не були власницями того кімоно, яке так зацікавило Еркюля Пуаро. А от у спільному дипломатичному паспорті подружжя Андрені на імені чарівної графіні виявилася сальна пляма, яка закривала перші літери. І граф Андрені, зважаючи на обставини, поблажливо погодився відповісти на всі запитання видатного детектива. Втім, Андрені обоє міцно спали та нічого підозрілого не чули. Тепер настав час поговорити з величною суворою княгинею Драгомировою та її мовчазною служницею.
Altezza,
Signor Book.
permesso presentare l'investigatore clandestino, Monsieur Equiparo?
Now, you wish me to confess to the murder of Mr. What his name?
Well, contrary, Madame la Princess, it is I who wish to make a confession. I noticed that you were the godmother of Mrs. Armstrong, who herself was the mother of a kidnapped child. Tell me please one thing. How did you become the godmother of Mrs. Armstrong?
I was a friend and admirer of her mother, the great American actress Linda Arden.
Did she not have another daughter, younger than Mrs. Armstrong?
There was, but I don't recall her name. When I paid a visit, she was always away at school.
What became of the younger daughter?
She married a Turk or some such. We never spoke of it.
What was Mrs. Armstrong's maiden name?
Mrs. Armstrong's maiden name was Green.
May it takes your memory longer. There are some names in Armstrong's house that I don't remember and can't recall. Was there no secretary?
She was a Miss Freebody.
Was there no college chauffeur?
I never used him, I had my own.
Surely he wasn't the old man's servant.
Yes, he was. I think you would say the Linton oddly.
And Mrs. Armstrong's personal maid?
I always travel with my own personal maid. There was no need to speak with Mrs. Armstrong.
Doubtless. Fräulein Schmidt, as one lady's maid to another, you concert as equals below stairs.
Yeah, naturally. But ladies' maids were often called only by their Christian names.
And what was hers?
Susanna.
Hildegard, you will be so kind as to give me to ask.
Jawohl, meine Prinzessin.
Finally, there was a nurse.
I had no need of a nurse. It is an odd assistant now.
She never smiles.
My doctor has advised against it.
There are no more questions. Thank you for your help. Book, would you kindly tell Mr. Dr. Arbuthnot that I would like to have some words with him?
Yes, Poirot.
Fräulein Schmidt, might I have some words with you?
I have to take this aspirins.
I observed how touched you were when I remembered about Susanna.
She had a sweet nature, mein Herr. We were deep friends.
Have you a photograph of her in your possession?
Yeah, I never travel without my photo box. No, please, mein Herr. I am strong.
Become. This uniform can belong to anyone on the Calais coach, including your mistress. When did you last open your suitcase?
After Belgrade, when Pierre summoned me to the Prinzessin.
Gustav, here. Yes, and here is missing button. And the basket in the box.
Here is the photo.
And this pretty nonsense lady threw herself from the window. Use this, Fräulein Schmidt.
No, that is a handkerchief not of a maid, but of a great lady.
Like your mistress.
It's in her style, yeah, but not her handkerchief. Besides, the initial is wrong.
What were Miss Ragomiro's first name?
Natalia, mein Herr. It's a Russian name.
Then I must to keep this photo and a handkerchief till the evening. I promise to return it.
Yeah, it doesn't worry me. But this does. Am I to be accused of finding it in my suitcase?
Fräulein Schmidt, I am as sure you didn't hide this uniform as you are an honest person. Not only an honest person, but also a good cook. Not only a good cook, but also a good maid. You are a good cook, are you not?
All my ladies said so.
Auf Wiedersehen. Oh, Poirot, your little grey cells, they now can see the light.
Отже, княгиня Драгомирова виявилася хрещеною покійної Соні Армстронг, яка була дочкою видатної американської трагічної актриси Лінди Арден. Звичайно, княгиня не один раз бувала в домі Армстронгів, як і її служниця, яка, здається, колись була ще й кухаркою, і знала покоївку, що колись вчинила самогубство через безпідставні звинувачення – Сюзанну. Втім, княгиня на диво мало пам'ятала про дім Армстронгів, навіть Пуаро знав про нього більше з газет. Але ні приголомшливі новини доповнили дві виняткові знахідки. Форма провідника без одного гудзика у валізі Хільдегарди Шмідт та кімоно таємничої жінки у валізі самого Еркюля Пуаро. І все це нарешті дало змогу маленьким сірим клітинкам у голові Пуаро побачити світло.
You opening a dress shop?
No, we are closing an inquiry. Where is Shimoga?
I beg your pardon?
Shimoga, where is it?
Well, it's bigger than my track. I'm a Northwest Frontier man myself. But Shimoga, down south, in Mission. Why?
Does it possess a mission?
How the hell could I know? Indians possess with the missions.
You are returning on leave from India to England.
Yes.
Why overland?
For the reasons of my own.
Colonel Arbuthnot, in a matter inquiry, no reasons can be by your own. I have distinguished friends there. The English Miss Debenham also traveled from Baghdad. It is possible the murder was committed by a man and a woman in collaboration. As you know Miss Debenham so long, could you have thought that she was capable physically or emotionally or...
It's a bloody irregular question.
I know, but I ask it.
Miss Debenham is not a woman.
She's a lady. What precludes her being a murderess?
Damn it, the man was perfect, stranger. She'd never seen him before.
You feel warmly in the matter. Did you know Colonel Armstrong?
By reputation. He was Indian Army. I was British Army serving in India.
Royal Scots.
How did you know?
It was in papers when he shot himself after the kidnapping.
Rodenshaw thought he'd been tossed in that. After all, he got a distinguished service or military cross in France.
Mon Colonel, Ratchet was responsible for 5 deaths. The suicide of the faithful accused maid, the murder of the Armstrong child, the death of Mrs. Armstrong while giving a premature birth to a baby, and the suicide of Colonel Armstrong.
Then, to my opinion, Ratchet deserved what he got. Thought I'd soon have been probably tried by a jury. And the truth is a sound system.
We believe that the murder was committed at 1:15. What were you doing that time?
I was young, what's his name, McQueen, in his compartment. It's what I call three-part young, yeah.
Colonel Arbuthnot, you are the old one in the Calais coach who smokes peep. Then, in a table, it must be your peep cleaner.
It's the same brand.
It was found by an ashtray by the man that side.
And someone planted there. It's a used peep cleaner. Or, I suggested that I'm fool enough to enter Mr. Ratchet's cabin, murdered him, cleaned my peep, and dropped it before leaving.
No, Colonel Arbuthnot. Miss Debenham?
Master!
No, Colonel Arbuthnot! Please be seated. Forgive me, I must be brief. You met Colonel Arbuthnot and fell in love with each other in Baghdad. Why might the English hide his emotions?
To answer your observations in order, of course, yes, and I don't know.
At the station in Istanbul, I overheard your dialogue with Mr. Arbuthnot. Not now, when it's all over, when it's behind us then. So, what was all over when what was behind you?
Mr. Poirot, I'm not at liberty to answer this question.
When the Yugoslavian police take a murder case in Broad, you will answer all the questions they ask.
I can always call my lawyers long distance. This is a private matter between the colonel and myself.
A vision brings suspicion, Mrs. Debenham. So answer my question. When what was behind you? When what was all over? Please answer my question.
Sir, please, don't. Mrs. Poirot is expressly forbidden.
Poirot has no right!
Answer my questions, Miss Debenham! Answer them!
Put your hands off, Miss Debenham!
I didn't notice I put my hands on her!
So I heard!
I ask her simple questions. If you want, you can answer them for her.
Can you give me your solemn oath as a foreigner that if the answer have nothing to do with the murder, you'll treat it confidentially?
I shall.
6 months ago, before I met Miss Debenham,
Come again?
My wife asked me to provide her with a divorce. Due to my position, I refused. Well, had I not, I should have lost my command. My wife returned to England, and there was an evidence that she was unfaithful. I have instituted the divorce proceedings, in which my wife stated as a guilty party, And when those proceedings are behind us, when those proceedings are all over, I'll propose to marry Miss Debenham. Meanwhile, it was of vital importance by English law that our behavior should not provide an evidence for counter proceedings of my wife. Does that answer your question?
Well, it is certainly an answer.
May we go?
You may, with my assuring that our foreigner's lips will be closed.
Sorry if I fascinate provocation. They could done it together. She is very strong. She has iron fires.
And why did you not ask her if she had been to America?
Because I did not need to.
От і розкрито таємницю дивної поведінки Мері Дебенхем та полковника Арбетнота. І справді, що може бути важче, ніж двом закоханим прикидатися чужими, лише тому, що процес розлучення триває довше, ніж сподівалися? Та не цю таємницю так прагне розкрити Еркюль Пуаро.
Because I was put in sentence by King.
You may set your mind at rest, Mrs. Hubbard.
The missing button?
Precisely, and I can assure you that the owner of this tunic is not on the train anymore. Anyway, could you please ask Senor Book and Doctor to summon all the passengers in the Calais coach in the dining car? I would like to make a solution.
Gladly.
I can't with the... No, I mean, I'm not a theatrical agent. That's a phony. Issued to me under license by Pinkerton.
The detective agency.
Istanbul branch. Wretched assistant for the American bodyguard. They sent me. I didn't do so hot.
Can you prove this was the reason of your journey?
It's Susanna. Susanna Michelle. Now I can stop pretending to be anything.
Чергові несподіванки ще більше заплутують слідство, чи навпаки допомагають побачити істину. Сайрус Хардман виявляється детективом з агентства Пінкертона, який колись знав бідолашну Сюзанну, а цікаві припущення італійця Фоскареллі щодо помсти мафії, який чимось не догодив Речет, були перервані драматичною у дусі Макбета з'явою місіс Хаббард із закривавленим кинджалом у руці, який вона знайшла у своєму несесері. Доктор підтвердив, що саме цей кинджал був знаряддям убивства, і тоді Еркюль Пуаро просить усіх зібратися у вагоні-ресторані, аби він, сеньор Бук та доктор Константин могли виголосити пасажирам відповіді на всі запитання.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? May I respectfully suggest that there should be no talking while Monsieur Poirot addresses you. If anyone wants to make a statement, he or she can do so at the meeting's end. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know that a repulsive murderer has himself was repulsively murdered, but by whom? How and why? Here is the simple answer. The murderer was a stranger. Mrs. Hubbard saw him in his compartment at 1 o'clock and later found his button and the dagger. Fräulein Schmidt discovered his uniform with a button missing in the conductor's passkey. Reached his compartment, and I think the simple answer would be that the murderer entered the train, entered Richard's compartment, killed him. After that, he planted a tunic and a dagger. But who was he? Perhaps a rival member of the mafia exacting private vengeance.
But it is at all?
No, it is not. I said, here is a simple answer. There is a complex one. Perhaps the murderer was a person or persons in a Calais coach. Let us not ask the question how, but the question why. Every one of you have heard about the Armstrong case, and Mr. McQueen told that he even knew Mrs. Armstrong. The Princess Dragomirov was Mrs. Armstrong's godmother, and the maiden name of Mrs. Armstrong, Greenwood. The Countess Andreni is Mrs. Armstrong's younger sister. Her Christian name is Helena, not Yelena. She lost her initial H in the joint spotted passport.
Monsieur Poirot, you have my word of gentleman. She has nothing to do with this.
I believe you. Nor does this handkerchief belong to Mrs. Hubbard, nor to Fräulein Hildegard Schmidt, who once was Armstrong's cook. She told me the prince's first name was Natalia. Anyway, in the Russian alphabet, the capital N is written like our capital H. Was she Mrs. Armstrong's secretary, Miss Debenham?
Miss Debenham, it's of a pure conjecture.
Oh, the pip-smoking Colonel Arbuthnot. He denied the acquaintanceship by Colonel Armstrong, but remembered in details his decorations. But I remember his views on British jury system, tried by 12 good men. Suddenly, the number 12 began to ring in my head. Doctor, how many wounds in Rachel's body?
I can definitely say 12.
Colonel Arbuthnot, how many people in British jury?
12.
Pierre-Paul Michel,
I'm here, monsieur.
how many passengers in the Calais coach, excluding myself and the killed person?
12.
Show me your wallet.
No!
Would you kindly give it to me? Mr. Hardman, you was not Rachel's bodyguard. Before the picket knots, you were an ordinary cop who fell in love with the pretty housemaid on his fete. Your daughter, Susanna, never died by a scarlet fever. She killed herself in the Armstrong case. Miss Olson, you understand the words like a bad gun and emolument. I think some years ago, when you lived in America, you looked after a small daughter of Mrs. Armstrong, whose name was Susanna. Mr. Masterman?
Sir?
You served with the British Army in Scotland. Colonel Armstrong was in Royal Scots. Would you kindly give Dr. Constantine your deepest butler's bow?
Yes, they're an old contusion.
Mr. Foscarelli is very knowledgeable about automobiles. I think some years ago he was Armstrong's chauffeur.
Think, monsieur?
Yes, think! What else can be done in a train occupied by snowdrift? If all these people didn't take place in this crime, why they told me so stupid and unnecessary lies?
Doubtless, Monsieur Poirot, they don't expect you on the train. They don't have time to play the comedy.
I hoped someone else would say it. Countess, your compound accent showed an inherited ability from your actress mother, America's greatest tragic actress, Lida Arden.
I always heard she wanted to play dramatic parts, but her husband wouldn't have it.
Which husband? Your second husband, Mr. Hartman, or your first husband, Mr. Grunwald? You became the organizer of this crime. I hoped that the murder took place before 1:15, when each of you had an alibi. But the actual murder took place later than 1:15, when the train was in silence and at peace. In silence? No. In peace? Also no. Let us imagine how it was.
Розглянувши всі докази та вислухавши всіх пасажирів, Еркюль Пуаро доходить до вельми цікавих висновків. Усі пасажири не тільки чули про справу Армстронгів, а й були знайомі з ними. Гектор Макквін був прихильником Соні, княгиня Драгомирова її хрещеною матір'ю, Елена Андрені її сестрою, місіс Хаббард матір'ю Соні та Елени, Ліндою Арден, Мері Дебенхем секретаркою, Арбетнот другом полковника Армстронга, Мастермен його слугою, Фоскареллі шофером, Хільдегарда Шмідт кухаркою, Грета Ольсон нянею, Гартман нареченим загиблої Сюзанни, П'єр Мішель її батько. І Еркюль Пуаро пропонує уявити, як же відбувався цей унікальний злочин.
Mr. Masterman, may I ask you a question? Did you put this on my table during the dinner?
No, sir, no.
Then tell me, who the hell did?
I have no idea, sir. May I ask what it is?
What it is? What it is? It is none of your damn business. I wanna know how it got here.
Will be there anything else, sir?
There will. Tell Mr. McQueen I want to see him. Right now.
Yes, sir.
Telegram. And 6 biggest stuff. Only 5. Repeat, 5 bakers were delivered. 1, repeat, 1 badly shipped, which will be returned on receipt of replacement to my Paris address. Signed, Rachel. Thank you. Thanks, Rachel. Good night, Hector.
C'était un cauchemar.
Have pleasant dreams.
For my daughter. My granddaughter.
In the memory of Colonel Armstrong, great soldier and even greater friend.
And for Mrs. Armstrong, they took me into their home and their hearts.
For they, Daisy, and mine.
Cassetti, for the grief you brought to my bewildered mind.
Яка!
Schweinekuh.
From my beloved daughter.
From the answer. From Hector.
For my gentleman.
To Susanna with love.
For my dear dead daughter.
I repeat, a repulsive murderer was repulsively killed for all evil he did, but in one of two ways. In simple one, by telling mafia, redress in a conductor, or in a complex way that allows a scandal and a lot of questions. Monsieur Book, it is to you as a director of a line to choose the variant. To be on your place, I would choose the second one.
We have the uniform to show the police. If we have the uniform, there must be a man in it. So, therefore, I elect the first solution.
The help is here. The police on board has arrived. The train will resume the course in a few minutes. They ask about the matter.
Thank you.
My friend, now I must go and wrestle with my report to the police and my conscience.
Inspector Darius, the police are brought. I want to know what happened here.
Отож, вибір між двома варіантами розкриття злочину зроблено. Перший варіант – убивство вчинив незнайомець, що проник у вагон Кале, переодітим у провідника, залишив форму та загубив гудзика, тікаючи через купе місіс Хаббард. Другий варіант – набагато складніший і моторошний. Та чи не був цей другий варіант, такий схожий на суд 12 присяжних, 12 людей доброї волі, справжньою справедливою карою, що нарешті спіткала жахливого злочинця? Долаючи власне сумління, Еркюль Пуаро обирає перший варіант, аби врятувати 12 достойних людей. Так було розкрито надзвичайне вбивство, таємниця якого назавжди залишиться похованою в серцях 12 присяжних та 3 слідчих. Ані поліція, ані суспільство ніколи не дізнаються правди. Але ми знаємо, що таке справедливість.
Так, таємницю вбивства у Східному Експресі розкрито. Але не всі таємниці потрібно розголошувати. Збережемо і ми цю таємницю. Привітаємо наших акторів, які зуміли втілити цих непростих та цікавих персонажів неповторної Агати Крісті. Люди, які можуть стати як гарячими працівниками продавцями східних сувенірів, так і мовчазними югославськими поліцейськими Назарій Шуляк, Іван Сабов, Антон Чесніков, офіціант вагону ресторану, патріот театру Modern Globe Ганна Кримська, провідник вагону Кале Валентин Фінюк, Сайрус Хардман Павло Черняк, Антоніо Фоскареллі, патріот театру Modern Globe Руслан Корпош, княгиня Драгомирова та Хільдегарда Шмідт, Вікторія Козла та патріот театру Modern Globe Анна Корольова, граф Андрені та Елена Андрені, патріот театру Modern Globe Роман Пінчук та Мирослава Сидорук, містер Мастермен Максим Волошин, Грета Ольсон, Катерина Пархомей, Гектор Макквін, справжній принц театру Modern Globe Святослав Подолець, Мері Девенгем та полковник Арбетнот, Людмила Демчук та заслужений артист театру Modern Globe Павло Кузьмін, П'єр Мішель, Юрій Святковський, місіс Хаббард, Віра Виноградська, Семюел Речет, Ігор Карпук, доктор Константин, заслужений артист театру Modern Globe Володимир Домбровський, сеньор Бук Іван Фіщук, Еркюль Пуаро Володимир Король, привітаємо також і тих, хто допомагав здійснити нам цю постановку. Алла Зеленська, Ілона Миронюк, Анастасія Воєнкова, заслужений звукорежисер театру Modern Globe Микола Мартинюк, заслужений режисер театру Modern Globe Катерина Деделюк, сценарист, режисер та заслужений майстер на всі руки театру Modern Globe наша міс Лемон Марія Макарова. І нарешті режисер, сценарист та заслужена мати-засновниця театру Modern Globe Надія Максимівна Петровська.
May I have a word? Thank you very much for your applause. And I should say several words about our theatre. To my mind, it was the most difficult performance of all 9 we had before. First of all, that is, on the one hand, the choice was extremely difficult because of the situation in Ukraine and the detective story.